Welcome back, my parents. Today I'm coming to you because we're going to talk about the things to look out for in Miss Tia's class when you go and find your child a daycare. All right, listen up, pay attention, pay close attention because these are signs that you could see walking in the door. All right, it's time for your sweet little angel to go out there and explore the world. And it's up to mommy and daddy to find the perfect place and the perfect teacher. Come on with me. The very first thing that I want to tell you is never, ever call in an appointment to go to a child care center. Just show up. First, by yourself. Show up so that you get a chance to see what is really going on in the school. A wise person once said you should see what it looks like with the lights on instead of with the lights off. Meaning that if you go into a place sometimes and the lights are off, everybody's prepared, everything is scheduled just right, and you don't see the flaws. You don't see the things that need to be changed. You don't see the warning signs. You don't see anything because everything is covered up. But when you pop in and you just want to take a walk, you get to see how everything operates during the day. So, when you first go in, you need to go in within that time of that 9 to 11 because that's the busiest time in a school. Students are starting to get ready for projects. Teachers are preparing the activity for that day. You need to see if they're prepared. You get to see the kids in circle time. You get to see the the head staff, the office staff working. You get to see everything within that 9 to 11 shift. So don't be afraid. Just go in, be your natural self, and pay close attention because there are signs. But sometimes we get so wrapped up in the glamour of the place, the beauty of it, that we miss the clear signs that are right in front of us. Okay, for instance, safety. When you walk into a building, do you walk directly in and there's somebody at the desk greeting you? Do you have to punch in a code? Do you have to sign in? What is it that shows you safety when you walk in this building? Or do you just get to walk in and walk through the building? That is something that is cautionary because nowadays people are walking into schools with guns. People are just walking in the classrooms and getting other people's children. It's so many things that are going on that you need to know that your baby is going to be safe in that classroom. Is your baby going to be in there where someone is watching at all times? So you need to make sure that that school is safe. You need to make sure that there's a check-in, there's a check-out, that somebody will be held accountable if anything happens to your child. Cameras, look for cameras. Make sure you find out about the camera system so that either some schools you can actually sit at your work desk or at home and look on your phone at the website and actually see what's going on in the classroom. A lot of schools have that. Some schools don't have that because sometimes you can actually think you see something that you really don't see. And you won't actually know what's going on unless you're in the classroom. And sometimes those cameras can be kind of tricky. And so that's why my old school actually updated their cameras to very high tech cameras so they'll be able to see and the teacher can actually deny, oh no, that didn't happen. But they can actually pull up the picture and actually see for themselves what actually happened. And they have the volume and everything. So they can actually hear if the teacher was talking wrongly to the child, if they actually were being disrespectful to the child, they can actually see what went on in the situation before jumping in conclusions. But they do not allow the parents to be at home and looking at the camera. But you can come in at any time during the day and you can ask them, hey, can you pull up the camera? Can I look at my child's class? And guess what? They have to do it. So they'll pull it up and they'll let you see. And I've actually had children to fall out, to be upset when mommy and daddy left. And guess what happened? Their parents actually was in the office. They sat in the office and they got to see what was going on in my classroom. And they got to see that the child was upset and I was trying to calm them. But then after they went and they tucked and they laid on the pillow and they calmed themselves down, they actually came and gave me a hug. They started playing and talking with me and everything. So the camera is there for the safety of the teacher as well as the safety of the child. So you definitely want to be able to have a camera in the classroom where your child is, so that you'll feel safe and the child is also be safe. Okay, so definitely look out for the camera. When you go into the building, you want to make sure you find out about the licensing. Make sure that the school's licensing is up to date. Find out little things. I know my boss was always good at letting people that inquire know if a situation happened and Bright from the Start had to come, which Bright from the Start didn't have to come that frequently because we always had to supervise. Now, there were times that supervision fell because of different situations that went on. I've been at the school where we had to evacuate more than one time, where we had to evacuate because there was a pipe burst, or we had to evacuate because at the last minute because there was a leakage in the area, and we actually had to get all the children out of the building onto buses, and they had to wait on their parents because they couldn't be that close to the leak of gas that was in the air. So there's always things that you don't know that may happen. And so you want to make sure that your child is always supervised. You want to make sure that when you go into this building, you ask the director, you ask the teachers, what is your primary way of knowing the children in the classroom? When you walk in a classroom, that teacher should know how many students are in that classroom. They should know when you move to a new area, like we would go to the playground. So we had to do a count before we left the classroom. We had to do a count when we got to the door outside of the classroom leading to the playground, and then we had to do a count on the playground. So we had to do all of that when we came back in as well. So your count is always there. The greatest teacher in the world can actually lose a kid. Believe me, I know, I have been there. The greatest teachers in the world, it happens all the time. You can count. The system that we have now at the school has been the best system ever. But before, counting when you got in and then when you got to the playground, there's always some child that somehow they lost their way, or a child might have been having an attitude and you're at the front of the line, and then the child might have stayed back at the back of the line and you're trying to watch your kids in the middle of the line. So it's always good to make sure you know what is the system, because sometimes kids can get, I've had a child that actually was in the classroom and I'm just like, wait a minute, what happened to this child? I know this child was in line, this, that, and other. The greatest teachers in the world have done it. But by me checking and making sure, I was able to go back and say, oh my God, like this child was actually in the classroom. So it made, and I guess what? I did not lie. I made sure that my boss knew what was going on. I covered both ends, and they got to look on the camera and they got to see when it happened. They got to see that she was okay. It was not just me, it was other teachers, but somehow she got lost in transaction. But she was okay. She was safe and everything, but she had gotten left, and we actually found out. Wait a minute. How did this happen? Thank God that she was safe. She was okay. She stayed in the classroom. She didn't, but it happened. And I felt guilty and I felt sorry. And I talked to her parents and let her know this is what happened. But it lets you know things like this happen. But the system in the school, the system in the classroom should be on point enough to for you to be able to check and recheck and everything. And we've went through so many trainings about checking, and they finally found a system that helped all the way around. And so it's like so few children were left, so few, because the system started to work. And so definitely, parents, I want you to know that safety is key, that when you walk into a building, look around, make sure that doors are locked, make sure you have to punch in a code, make sure you have to sign in and out. If though Make sure, because you don't want to leave your child in an unsafe environment, because things can go badly very quickly. We have seen it all on the news, we have seen it everywhere. So you want to make sure your child is safe at all times. And remember, when you visit a school, you go early so you can see what the lights are like when they're on. You can see that things are not covered up. Now, if you come back and you decide, okay, I'm going to make an appointment to come back and bring my child, that would be a great time for when you to look around the classroom. You can look and see, make sure toys are not broken. Make sure that your child is playing, that there's enough toys in the classroom, that the kids are being natural, that the teacher is being natural. Make sure that you see, even when you pop up and say, oh, can I just walk in a couple of classrooms and maybe I'll bring my kid back the next time. And you walk into those classrooms, see the natural side of the teachers, because everybody's going to be on their P's and Q's when they know you're coming. But make sure that everything is natural. So you want to just do a pop visit and it's okay. And guess what? It's not. They are supposed to serve you. And if they don't serve you, then that's a red flag by itself, because they should want to serve you as a parent and let you see there's no secrets here. You are welcome. Our center is open. So I'm going to come back to you with another video about our next things that we should be watching out for when we go to school. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know if you like it. And if I haven't touched on something that you're concerned about, hit me down below. Let me know, and I'll make sure we talk about it. We discuss it. Remember, this is coming from Miss Tia, and Miss Tia will let you know the real deal. All right. Bye. I'll see you soon. Love you.